Voice of Indonesia.
Voice of Indonesia from Indonesia to the world. Welcome back to me, Ahmad Faisal, at the special program of interview. You know that Indonesia and Ecuador have a very long history in maintaining their bilateral relations. And the two countries continuously develop cooperation. And at this special program of interview, to know more about the bilateral relations between Indonesia and Ecuador, here with us at the studio of Voice of Indonesia, there is in charge of Consular Function of the Embassy of Ecuador in Indonesia, Mr. Freddy Raúl Lopéz. How are you today, Mr. Freddy?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the invitation. For me, it's very important to stay here and can sharing about my country. That is for us the most important date in the world in the country. I have for to share to you.
Okay, so actually, when did you first time arrive in Indonesia?
I live in Indonesia almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
I arrived to Indonesia exactly 15 August in 2021.
Okay.
And in this August, I will stay 3 years.
Okay.
But it's for me the good experience because I can to find really good people, good relationships, many friends, etc.
Okay. Mr. Freddy, if I'm not mistaken, in a few days, exactly on 24th May, Ecuador commemorates the Battle of Pichincha. Actually, what is it about, actually? Can you tell us?
And that date, the 24th of May, we remind the celebration of the battle, the most important battle in Ecuador, when the whole country can get the liberty.
Okay.
And the people finally was get in freedom. And now the government celebrate that date with we doing several events or events and remind the history, remind the things, and that is the holiday in Ecuador. In Ecuador, that is the good time for sharing with the family, for eat and typical foods, etc. But the government obviously have several events, official events, in the government and with the measures, with the specific parts in the military arms. There are many events, official events.
So all people of Ecuador celebrate this event every year?
Every year. But there are another date inclusive in 10 of August. There are 2 days, exactly 2 days.
Okay.
But in my opinion, in the 2024 for me is the most important because the battle when it started the liberty in Ecuador was in that date. And now we celebrate 202 years and that we have the freedom.
So how does the government facilitate to the people so that people can also have such enthusiasm in celebrating this event?
Yeah. Now, as you know, that days is the holiday, the people, the first. In the second, all the school, college, and university focus the education about that specific date. However, the years, more years, the people is always forgetting the date. But for our fathers, for our grandfathers, was really important, really important. But nowadays we have another problems that is, I don't know. For example, the poverty, lack of health. I don't know, pollution. The environment. There are many problems, and that the governments are fighting
against. Okay. So, Mr. Freddy, you said that you have been in Indonesia for 3 years. So,
almost.
How many tourism destinations that you have already visited, maybe in Indonesia?
That is good. That is good question. Because I think one program, 2 or 3 hours, that is enough. Because Indonesia has a lot of island sites, those places that I had been. Thank God, and I had the opportunity to visit. For example, in the north, in the south, in the central Indonesia, I can find, for example, island like Bali, like in Nusa Penida, Lombok, Gili Trawangan, Sorong in Papua.
Sorong, Papua. Oh, all right.
And Labuan Bajo, Padar, Manta, Flores, Sumatra, Jakarta.
Absolutely. Lots of tourism destinations.
Medan.
Wow, cool.
Lake Toba in Bukit Lawan and Medan is very good places for visit.
So how do you feel after visiting that places?
For me is the time, my relaxing time. And I like always visit a new site. But in my opinion, I need to have two leaves for visit the 17,000 island in Indonesia. There are many islands. Okay, but for me the most important, I believe that I've been there.
So, Mr. Freddy, in case of that, do you have such maybe information, maybe approximately how many, I can say, people of Ecuador that have already visited Indonesia, including such for tourism destination?
Yeah, the accounting we have no real, but I can estimate the information, and the people and the Ecuadorian people visiting Indonesia last year was almost 12,000 only. The principal site is in Bali.
Okay.
2,000 people.
2,000 people.
That is no specific number, but our country estimate and that account. But Bali is knowing the most important site, the most important beach in this part of the world. And the Ecuadorian people knows about, for example, Bali. You can say, I don't know about Indonesia, but I know to Bali. And that is I have friends in Ecuador whom said, I need visit only almost one time stay in Bali. That is really spectacular side, no? So,
Mr. Freddy, you also said that you visited Sorong, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So what did you see there? What kind of information, maybe such of tourism destination that you visited in Sorong?
Sorong, the site, a specific site in Papua. In Papua, that is really a relaxing site.
Relaxing side.
This is beautiful landscape, and the silence, the peace. You can smell peace. You can smell quiet.
Oh.
You can take a resting really good.
So this is the right place for you for relaxation.
You can get a book and sleep and wake up, and that is perfect for me.
Okay.
And that is you can not there noise. The silence is the first. No, is only smell the pure air. Only smell the peace. Only smell the tree, the water. For me, is important.
So you also visited Raja Ampat.
Raja Ampat, exactly. But is almost there are many islands, but the most important obviously is Raja Ampat, Sorong. But the trip is the first is really far. Really far, almost by plane 4 hours maybe.
4 hours.
4 hours maybe is, but it's good. But I would like refer to my country inclusive, because it's very important to me and for my government to give the information around Ecuador, about Ecuador.
Mr. Freddy, during your
Please, that is possible.
Yes, during your duty in Indonesia, do you enjoy Indonesian traditional foods?
Of course.
Can you mention maybe one or two that you have already tasted?
Okay. I like the Indonesian food. For me, it's important because it was my first experience in this part of the world. And I'm in my daily food. For example, I don't have the spicy kind, but I'm learning to eat with spicy, with chabe, peras, but if I can refer to two dishes, 2 plates, my favorite place in Indonesia, obviously there are many, but I can say it. Soup iga.
Soup. Oh, cool. Soup iga.
Buntut
Yes.
soup,
Sop buntut.
rendang, gado-gado.
Okay. Cool.
Chapchai, that is good.
Oh, cool.
And in Ecuador, we cannot find duck.
Bebek is duck.
And duck is really nice. Really nice.
Cool.
And my first time eating duck in my life is in Indonesia.
So, Mr. Freddy, let's talk about bilateral relations. So, do you think that the potential cooperation between Indonesia and Ecuador have such? I mean, are very good. In this case, the two countries have such potential cooperation that can be developed in the future. Can you explain about
Yes, sure. Nowadays, the Indonesia get cooperation about the security. The fighting against the drugs, for example. Indonesia is really prepared with fighting with the drugs. Last year we have 2 meetings in Ecuador between the authorities, Ecuadorian and Indonesia, for focus and relation and cooperation in the fighting against the drugs, for example. Now we can find another kind of, I don't know, import commodities since to Ecuador.
Yes.
For example, last year in my country can export cacao, principally cacao is almost $180 million. But But Indonesia export to Ecuador almost 200. It's more than Ecuador. There are many problems with the import and export of products because the both countries have exactly the same climate. Have exactly the same products. For example, banana, the pineapple, papaya, manga is exactly the similar products.
Yes.
Or shrimp. There are the eat is very similar. But I hope, for example, we have the most important product in Ecuador. Obviously, is the rose, the flowers named rose. But I would like, I hope this year or next year, my country can export that product to Indonesia, because Indonesian people likes not only the fruit. For example, the rose is knowing with the most beautiful around the world. The rose, for example, our principal product is obviously the cacao. The principal product to make the chocolate is in Ecuador. The uran is knowing like the number one around the world. The banana inclusive. But we have in Indonesia banana, but it's not similar. The Indonesia, I think so, is possible try the export new products.
Okay, so Mr. Freddy, finally we come to the last question. Because Indonesia, especially this October, will have new president and vice president, and they will be inaugurated this October 2024. My question is, what is your expectation, not only for today Indonesian government, because Indonesia will also have new president. So what is your expectation so that the two countries will have such better and also strong bilateral relations in the future?
First of all, we are friends with Indonesia, and I first thank God we have the kind of relationships. I hope the new president keep exactly the same relationship with us, and I in my best wishes for him, for Mr. Probable, yes. the new president, and I think the good performance to the Mr. Joko Widodo. He is really good person and excellent government.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Freddy Raúl Lopéz, for your time to have such special review today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well, listener, that was our special review with in charge of Consular Function of the Embassy of Ecuador in Indonesia, Mr. Freddy Raúl Lopéz. I am Ahmad Faisal. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Voice of Indonesia.